This is the Boys Inc. podcast, episode 34. I've got Nate here with me. And
I like how we have this unspoken thing where you just kind of reveal the number after we've started.
I'm the only person that checks the number, so. Yeah, I'm on it. I'm Johnny on the spot with it. So, this week I've got a couple things that we should talk about. And the thing is, there's one really pressing one, but I know that if I talk about it first, I'm going to want it to be the title and thumbnail. And immediately everything I think of when it comes to making the title and thumbnail is fucking cancer, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to save the best topic for probably later, or at least not the best topic, but the most clickbaitable one for later so I don't clickbait it. So instead, I've got a sort of a new segment to introduce. So this is going to be our second segment. Also, by the way, no big SIG energy this week. I didn't do any research this time. So I have other people to look into, but not this week. I don't want it to be an every week kind of thing. So this one, I just kind of stumbled across this thing scrolling Instagram as you do. And the only way I can describe it is like, remember that one episode of SpongeBob where they're in fucking Mermaid Man's lair and they're looking after it and like Man Ray gets out?
Oh, yeah.
So
I found they're teaching him how to not be a dick.
Yeah, and it's like this is your wallet, right? Yeah. It's that bit where he's like back and forth with it has your ID in it. That one, yeah.
It's not my wallet.
It's not my wallet. Yeah. I found the Instagram post that is equivalent to the Orb of Confusion from that show. Like, It's an Instagram post that anyone that gets near it instantly becomes retarded. I don't know how. I don't know how this is happening, but it's a stupid post. And on top of that, all of the comments are fucking stupid too. Like, it's insane. I was just like, what is happening? And then I just realized it's everyone standing there with their hand on the orb just going, oh, fucking, it's ridiculous. So there's a little bit of context I want to give beforehand. So basically recently, there was a dude he was a truck driver in Colorado, right? He drives like one of those big ass fucking shipping trucks you see on the highway with like basically an 18-wheeler. And in this story, he says his brakes failed in the truck. And it's Colorado, so it's a very rocky area, right? It's very rocky and a lot of like up and down change in elevation, right? It's not very flat.
Yeah.
So the problem is, for a while in this route after his brakes fail, it's like downhill for a while. So he's trying to stop the truck, but the brakes aren't working. And the thing is, it's like, okay, most likely he probably overheated them because, you know, you're driving a massive fucking semi-truck and you're constantly going downhill. You will burn out your brakes and they will just need to cool down and will do nothing until they've cooled.
Yeah.
So, apart from that separate, he also could have stopped if he knew how to drive the truck he was driving, because most semis are manual and you don't need the brakes to stop in a manual if you know what you're doing. You can just use engine compression to slow down. Just like usually recommended over just hitting the brakes. You can just basically sort of half engage it in order to slow your shit down. No brakes required. That is just using the engine as a brake. On top of that, there were several ramps that he could have pulled off onto in order... Basically, there are ramps on the side of the highway that are designed for runaway trucks. Like, if you're a truck and your brakes have fucked up and you can't stop your truck, just pull into this. It, like, leads off the road so you don't hit anyone. He passed, I think, several of those and didn't get off at any of them. So he's in this truck that he has sort of failed to stop in like 3 different ways. There's like at least 3 different ways he could have stopped it in that. Like,
are you sure this isn't just Big Sig Energy?
I'm positive this is not Big Sig Energy.
Okay.
This is going to be the brain drain segment. This is going to be the Orb of Confusion right here. So,
new one.
Yeah,
Got
so this dude, he can't stop the truck, or at least it's not that he can't, it's that he is too stupid to stop the truck. Because there were 3 valid options and he picked none of them. And instead, left with no other choice, basically just barrels into a bunch of other fucking cars and kills a bunch of people. Like, I think at least
Nice.
18 people ended up injured or dead. So,
Oh, sick.
yeah, fucking, this became a problem very quickly. And the cops arrest him, and he goes to trial. And the problem is, he was slapped with like 18 different charges, and all of those charges have a minimum sentence. And he's found guilty on all of them. The problem is the judge can't basically lump it in and go, okay, I'll give you like 20 years. Because he's facing like 18 counts, and some of them are like, I think, manslaughter. So it's like, there's a minimum sentence. So after all the minimum sentences are calculated,
Yeah.
he's at like 110 years or some shit. So this dude is facing 110 years in prison for this. And basically this Instagram post was saying, essentially, free my mans. I'll read it for everyone. It was a quote from the guy after he was sentenced. And this is on the Instagram account that is Justice for this dude. And the quote says, "I'm dying. It is hard to live with this trauma. I can't sleep. I'm thinking all the time about the victims. This was a terrible accident. I know I take responsibility, but it was not intentional. I am not a criminal." So that was the post. And I was like, huh. And when I first saw this on someone's story, it was someone that was just like, hey, check out this post. And I hadn't looked into this yet. And I went, huh. Let me go to the comments and see what's up, because I know nothing about this. Let me see if people in the comments can help educate me on the subject. Dude, I got 0 education on the subject from the comments. It was not helpful at all. You scroll down to the comments, and I would say a solid 90 to 95% of the comments are people just tagging Kim Kardashian or Cardi B or both.
What?
It's a bunch of people tagging Kim Kardashian.
In what sense?
It's just at Kim Kardashian, at Cardi B. Here's one. It is just at Kim K,
like
at I am
that
Cardi B.
They're stupid, or
no, implying like this is the Justice for this guy account, and they're like, hey, at these
right.
at these people so they see it and can like help. There's a lot of these where it's just like at Kim Kardashian.
How can they help?
I wasn't incredibly sure what people exactly wanted them to do, because I was like, what the fuck can they do? And there was one comment chain in here that was gold. But I'm trying to find it. But it's like a bunch of people are just like saying, oh, well, Kim Kardashian has gone and like talked to the president about getting people released before, so like why not this time? Like, yeah, about that.
The president can't talk.
Yeah. Well, no, it was when Trump was in office, she did it.
Oh.
This was like a year or 2 ago. So okay, I found one of the comments that really made me laugh. So this person says, "I don't get why people post Kim Kardashian or Cardi B here. That's a sensible question. Why are you in the comments of someone's like, I need justice Instagram account tagging Kim Kardashian?" The first reply says, at the person that left the comment, "Kim was to the White House to ask for a woman that was in jail with an exaggerated sentence, and the president pay attention to her petition and give this woman an absolution, and also she is becoming a lawyer, maybe that's why. And Cardi, she is famous to spread the voice, and more people know about this case." Then she follows that up, continuing.
Yeah, she really hit the nail on the head with that one.
I know. Take that. Checkmate, atheist. So then she follows that up with, "And always when there is an unfair issue, Cardi B uses her platform to help."
What platform? Her pussy?
I was like, okay, wait. So this person is saying that Kim Kardashian is trying to be a lawyer. And dude, I cannot think of a worse person to come give me legal
Is that even
representation. Maybe? I don't know. A couple other people in the comments were
I
talking
mean, her
about.
dad wasn't her dad like the OJ lawyer?
I think
one
so.
of the
Yeah.
OJ lawyers.
Yeah. I think her dad
Like that's
was
why they're rich in the first place. I think.
Yeah. I think her dad was like a famous.
He was on the case in some way.
Celebrity lawyer of some sort, but I wouldn't trust her to be my defense lawyer. I wouldn't do it.
No, her herself? Fuck
yeah,
no.
Fuck no. Just having a lawyer for a dad does not make you a good lawyer.
No.
So that was what initially was like funny, was just the broken fucking grammar. Just what the fuck did that? I mean, I sort of got what you meant, but then the second part that was funny to me was the Cardi B segment of it, implying that like Cardi B is this fucking beacon of justice that will shine her
She's
light.
The voice of the fucking people now?
She will shine her light upon any injustice that she finds. Cardi B is this superhero that gets people out of prison. Meanwhile, Cardi B is being charged with going to a fucking strip club and like throwing chairs at people.
Jesus Christ. Whatever happened in the case where she like drugged a bunch of guys?
Nothing.
Is that just dropped entirely at this point?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know, honestly. Like, I don't know what people are even doing about that. Like, presumably nothing.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Dude, it's so funny though, just reading some of these comments where people are like, yeah, but like, she's not a lawyer though, and everyone's like, okay, but she can bring awareness. It's like, okay, why her specifically? And then there's like maybe 2% of the comments that are like, you know, it'd be smarter to tag the governor of Colorado, right? Like, that's a dude that could actually like look into this. Like, he has jurisdiction in Colorado. Like, you think Kim Kardashian passed the bar in Colorado? I don't think she did. I don't think she passed it. I don't think she even considered taking it.
Well, my main concern is why people want this guy to get off the hook.
Yeah, I mean, that was the other part that I thought was funny, is there's people that are just like, free my man, he does not deserve this. And I'm like, what do you mean he doesn't deserve this? He killed like 3 or 4 people because like he failed to stop the truck that he was driving because he was not knowledgeable enough about it. And it's like, dude, if I start driving a car and I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing and get people killed, that is totally my fault.
Yeah.
Like, I would go to prison for that. Especially because here's the thing, I am not fucking skilled when it comes to driving a manual transmission. I like know the barest of minimum. Like, if I was stranded in a country where they only have manuals, I would be able to get around, but it wouldn't be pretty. And like, I knew that guy fucked up. I was like, why didn't you just use the engine brake? It's not called that, but why didn't you use engine compression to slow down? Like, you could just do that. It has nothing to do with your brakes. And the people were like, his brakes failed. It's like, they failed because he probably burned them out. Like, it's not like they just accidentally failed. It's like, the chances of it just being completely independent from him, where it's like, he literally did nothing wrong to cause the brakes to fail. They were just bad brakes and he had nothing to do with it. Okay, sure, let's assume that. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt there. He still could have used engine compression to slow down, or the fucking runaway truck ramp that was built for this exact purpose. It's literally there in case a truck can't stop and needs to pull off the road so it doesn't hit people. And he passed at least one, I think several of those, and did not take any of them.
Right.
So it's like, well, you had chances to stop
So it's reckless driving at the very least.
Exactly. It's like,
it's manslaughter.
Yeah, 100%. And they're like, okay, well, the only point in the comments that I get is people that are like, okay, listen, he did this, but like, it shouldn't be 110 years. Right? They're like, maybe make it like 20 or 30. Don't have him like die in jail for this. But that's like maybe 2% of the comments, where it's like, they're almost all just at Kim Kardashian. Like, it's insane to me that people are fucking, oh my god. And there was one that was like, it was even funnier to me. I don't know why I can't find it, but it was like, it was someone tagged Kim Kardashian and just went, look at this. Like Like, as though Kim Kardashian is, like, reading your fucking comment. Like, you're talking to Kim Kardashian like she's your friend or some shit. Like, you know her personally.
I DM'd Cardi B. She never got back to me.
Dude, that's fucked up.
Yeah, she never, ever got back to me.
You know what? You should DM her, free my mans. And then, like, this guy's account.
I should.
Because apparently she hasn't been tagged 9 million times yet.
Yeah, send me the link.
Yeah, all right. I'll send it. I'll send you the post on Instagram. But, like,
nice.
It's incredible. Like, just scroll through this and tell me, like, this makes any goddamn sense for this amount of people to be just tagging Cardi B. Like, it's fucking crazy.
God.
It's I don't know, like, where to even start with it. And it's like no one even tagged any other lawyers. Like, why is it Kim K? Why is she the only one that can do anything about this?
This is not what I pictured.
Yeah? Yeah, and it's fucking crazy.
Oh, nice comment.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I left a little comment there for this one guy that was saying.
Oh, this dude talking about what's his face? What's that guy's name?
Kyle Rittenhouse. There was a guy that left a comment that was like, "How does this guy get 110 years, but some fucking kid goes to a protest and shoots people, and like gets off like fucking not guilty or whatever?" And then someone was like, "Bro, you didn't like watch the trial or whatever." And he goes, "Yeah, I did. I watched the whole thing." And I just went, "No, you didn't." It's just like, no, you simply did not. Impossible.
So, have you been looking at the profile pictures of these people?
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much all just like exactly what you would imagine. It's just like,
yeah, they don't look
Instagram,
like the brightest.
Instagram e-girls. It's like,
yeah,
and like I like that half of them are like all the same pic at the same angle. Like these girls look like they're all clones of like one girl. It's fucking crazy.
Well, this one's at Kim Kardashian, and then the praying emoji.
This one says at Kim Kardashian, "Help this guy out!" Exclamation point! Exclamation point! The fuck do you want her to do about it?
I really don't understand Cardi B. Like, maybe Kim Kardashian?
Yeah, I mean, that seems super random, right? And the only people that I've seen that are like, just have any explanation for it are like, they pretty much just say, well, Cardi B's famous, so she could bring more attention to the case. And it's like, that's true. Okay, I'll give you that one. But why Cardi B specifically and no other famous people?
Well, this one's the same person. 2 separate comments in a row. I am Cardi B, and then Fox News.
This person wanted Fox News to see it for some reason.
Oh. But the same person... Okay, so this person has all their bases covered. Ready? They tagged Cardi B, Kim Kardashian, the governor of Colorado, and Fox News.
Nice. He got all 4, dude. It's going to be like...
Well, this is the only tag I see for the actual fucking governor, so... Yeah,
it's like someone tagged, like, the governor of Colorado or some shit. It's like, okay, I can see why that would help. This dude still deserves jail time. Like, don't be like, free my man, he didn't do nothing. It's like, no, he did. He did, though. Oh, this guy just says, at Kim Kardashian, please help him. Please. Like... Kim Kardashian's gonna be like, well, because you asked nicely, I'll fucking wave my magic wand and get this dude released from prison.
Yeah.
I will get him fucking freed.
Oh, here it is. Is this the thread you were talking about? I don't get why people post Kim Kardashian or Cardi B here. Yeah, here it is. Was to the White House.
Yeah.
Kim was to the White House to ask for a woman that was in jail. Oh my god. An absolution.
At Kim Kardashian, please help him at Cardi B.
And always when there is an unfair issue, Cardi B uses her platform to help. And then there's a second person who chimed in simply saying, Kim could help. Thanks.
Help, yeah. I mean, how much though? How useful would she be?
That person's back with the fifth.
There's something
The
weird.
shade room. What the fuck is that?
There's something weird about this to me though, that they all seem to have tagged only the same two people. Like, there are more famous people than just Kim Kardashian and Cardi B, right? There's like hundreds of famous people that you could have tagged.
Well, to that, I would say look at the profile pictures and just think to yourself, who do these people think would be like the most powerful activists in the world?
That's true. I mean, listen, personally, I think if we had to get a celebrity to help this guy out, my money is straight up on Demi Lovato 100 out of 100 times.
Her and her infinite genders.
Yeah, so Demi Lovato, I don't know if you know what she's been up to recently, but
no.
She got like this new show on Hulu or something. And it's actually kind of genius. I actually need to watch this just to laugh at it. Because it's actually a great idea. I hope that it's like, I hope that whoever makes it and like sold this show to Hulu knows that this is complete nonsense and everyone wants to watch to be like, what the fuck is even going on? And like Demi Lovato is the only person on set taking it seriously. Because this is the kind of pitch for a show that I didn't know I needed until I heard it, where Demi Lovato goes and hunts for ghosts and then sings to them to get rid of the trauma they had in their lives.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Demi Lovato is now a ghost hunter. Yes, like actually. I don't know what the fuck the actual pitch.
This sounds like an old early 2000s Disney Channel movie.
No, but it's real though.
It's like a documentary.
Yeah, but it's like not. It's not in on it. I don't think. I don't think it knows.
Documentary.
Yeah, but it's like Demi Lovato goes to some like old fucking condemned brothel or some shit and finds a ghost.
What's this called?
I think it's called Unidentified with Demi Lovato.
All right, I'm gonna Google this. Is this? If you're shitting me, I swear to God, I'll kill you.
Dude, I'm telling you. So she goes to this like abandoned brothel and finds a ghost of one of the prostitutes that used to be there, and then sings to the ghost to get rid of its the trauma from all the misogyny it faced back in the day.
Demi Lovato brings viewers on a road trip in search of definitive answers to some of the biggest questions about extraterrestrial life.
She's hunting aliens.
Joined by their sister, a few skeptical friends, and a leading alien expert.
The foremost expert on aliens. How do you become the
Demi
foremost
investigates
expert?
recent eyewitness alien encounters, uncovers secret government reports, and conducts tests at UFO hotspots in hopes of exposing the truth.
She conducts tests at UFO hotspots. She's just standing in a field with a bunch of scientific instruments. Just like, I don't know what any of these things do. She's just like banging things together.
It just looks like a pendulum.
Like a fucking. She has a sextant for some reason. Just like, what the fuck is that gonna do?
She's standing in a cornfield with a Newton's cradle.
But in my head, she's like sitting there banging these fucking things together, trying to make like numbers come out of them.
Well, if you put two sciences together, it makes more science.
Yeah, the net science.
Oh my god!
Output. Wait,
it's already out.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was already out.
Oh, dude, fuck yeah!
Oh, it's got a 2.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
How is that only a 2.5? It's got to be gold.
All right, we have to watch the entire first season before the next episode.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down.
All right.
Coming at you with that fucking... Dude, I gotta make a review of the show. Just the whole first season. I gotta make a review of it. Holy shit. But, like, that's who I need as a criminal defense lawyer. I need Demi Lovato in the courtroom banging legal textbooks and protractors together to make my defense. It's like, okay, now both sides will present their closing arguments and then the prosecution lays down some fucking absolute fire towards the jury. It's looking like all hope is lost. I'm about to get life. I am not beating the allegations. And then Demi Lovato just goes, I would like to serenade the jury. Just fucking sings Amazing Grace to the jury, and they're just like, not guilty, as tears are streaming down their faces. There was not a dry eye in the courtroom.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so, but like, why don't they tag Demi Lovato? Is it because she's too busy hunting aliens? I'm sure hunting aliens is very time consuming, but you don't have time to just help break this guy out of prison or whatever?
Jesus Christ.
Like, okay, what? All right, but like for real though, what famous person do we send to get people out of jail? Because Kim Kardashian is not doing it. She hasn't responded yet. I get that the legal process takes a long time, but I don't think she's filing these documents. I don't think it's happening. I think people that are waiting for it are going to be very disappointed when it turns out she wasn't filing them.
So I'm guessing people just haven't heard back from either of them yet.
Yeah, I guess Kim and Cardi B have nothing to say on the matter because they certainly know about it now. They've been tagged a billion times each. I just think it's funny that in these people's heads, you're a lawyer at just any place in the country, and you're allowed to just do whatever the fuck you want, like lobby for whoever. Like, you know, to like practice law in a state, you need to pass its bar exam, right? Like, you need to pass the legal test to be a lawyer in a state in order to be a lawyer in that state. So, like, if I pass the bar in Pennsylvania, I'm allowed to be a lawyer in Pennsylvania. I can't go to New Jersey and start being a lawyer. I can't just move to fucking New York and be a lawyer. Like, no, I would have to pass their test too. Then I could do it. But I somehow don't think Kim Kardashian is going to take and pass the bar in Colorado for some dude that is like, he should be in prison. Like you can say, okay, the sentence seems too long. I could be talked into that, right? Like, that seems okay. Maybe reduce the sentence, but that guy still deserves to be in jail. Like, come on now. He had several fucking ways to stop people from dying here.
Yeah, he did something.
Yeah, and he just he didn't. He simply did not help anyone. Like, listen, if I have a job doing some shit that I don't know how to do, and I'm horribly underqualified, and I get someone killed, that is not only my fault, but also whoever hired me and didn't vet me properly. I'll say whoever hired him also can go down for this. I'm okay with that. Whoever hired this guy that clearly does not understand how this truck works, like, don't be hiring dudes.
Oh, yeah, no.
Don't be hiring dudes to drive trucks if they don't know how to fucking drive. Like, you should, if you're driving a big ass truck like that, you should be very familiar with how to drive them. I don't think that's a controversial opinion. Like, you should know how to stop, even if your brakes fail, because it has built-in ways to stop, even if the brakes do fail. It's one thing if you're just driving your regular car and the brakes fail and it's an automatic and there's not much you can do about it. It's like, okay, that's an accident, whatever. But, I mean, you're driving most likely a manual, so you could have stopped, and there are ramps for you to pull off of if you are out of control. And you didn't. And there's like other weird shady...
Insane.
There's other weird shady shit too. Like, at some point he stopped and like called his boss to say something about the brakes, but then got back in the truck and continued driving. So like it was at a stop.
Yeah.
It was like at a stop, and then he decided to start driving again, and he was going way above the speed limit, but people were like, well, his brakes were out. It's like, why did he speed up to that point anyway? It's like, it was going downhill. Okay, then use your fucking engine compression to slow down. Your brakes have nothing to do with that. You are just siphoning power away from your engine. You will stop. Especially because it went on for a while. It's not like this was like a split-second thing. This was like, I think 30 or 40 minutes of like thinking about what to do and just deciding on nothing and slamming into people to stop. Like, let me stop this truck by hitting this school bus. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and as always, I mean, people are just going to make this a racial thing too.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, I mean, I saw plenty of that in the comments too, where it was like, people were like, "Oh, Kim Kardashian won't help because he's fucking Hispanic," and I was like, I don't know where they got that idea. I don't know why they said that.
God.
I mean, maybe she just hates Hispanic people, and that's why she hasn't responded.
Yeah. Not a huge Taco Bell fan.
Yeah, exactly. That's very possible. I mean, yeah, I think it's possible. But then why wouldn't Cardi B respond? Maybe it's because she's trying to beat the allegations at the same time too.
Maybe Cardi B Hispanic?
I don't know. I don't know what Cardi B. Cardi B is a creature. Cardi B is a fucking.
I thought she was black.
She's a goblin. I don't know what.
Am I that dumb?
I don't know what race she is. I honestly don't know.
Wait, I'm gonna Google it.
I think under race. I think under race, I would say like the Bronx. I would say that. I think that's a race.
Yeah.
I would just say like fucking Brooklyn. Like.
Oh, she is Hispanic.
Oh.
Or wait, no, Dominican. Trinidad. Where the fuck is Trinidad?
Like near.
I don't know fucking geography.
Republic.
Jesus Christ.
It's like Caribbean, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
It's near Tobago, which is like meaningless because if you don't know where Trinidad is, you probably don't know where Tobago is.
Yeah, her mom is African and Spanish.
Oh, okay, so she's like basically both.
Like Spain Spanish, so like European Spanish, not like South America / Mexico Spanish.
So like.
Oh.
She's Hispanic, not Latino. I think that's how that works. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah.
I don't know how this shit works. Oh, that reminds me. I did see this fucking great thing a while ago. It was like, I sort of realized you can, if you're making packaging for certain products in stores, you can start getting real fast and loose with how you label things. You can kind of just make shit up and put it on the packaging if you want.
Oh.
It's
good to know.
I was with my family and we were in Target and we were looking for like water bottles or some shit. And there was this one package of like reusable plastic straws, right? And it was marketed as like a help save the environment, right? Stop throwing away these fucking plastic straws. How about these like reusable plastic straws? And I was like, okay. And I was reading the packaging and it said, for every like whatever, for however many of these straws you buy, like in this package, you will save 3 sea turtles. Asterisk. I was like, what? Why are there 2 asterisks? Is it like that contentious? So then I looked down onto the packaging where the asterisks were explained.
Like the first notes on the straw package?
Yeah, and it was like, okay, so like we're basing that off of research done by like an 8th grader for a science fair project.
Oh, nice.
Like, no shit, it actually said that. It was like, you will save 3 sea turtles, according to an 8th grader who said it. I was like, what the fuck is that? So you can just make up anything and you're like, well, an 8th grader said it. So he put it on the package. We just put an asterisk after it. Like, dude, science has proven, and science means an 8th grader doing a science project. I was like, dude, I could just like go to a fucking local middle school and just talk to a kid in the parking lot and give him $5 and be like, just say this shit. Just say some made up shit. Say that my product cures cancer. And he'll be like, yeah, it super cures cancer. And I'll be like, thanks. I'm going to put that on the box with an asterisk.
Well, that's all they did with What's-Her-Nuts. Fucking Greta Thunberg.
That's true. Yeah, they're like, hey, this person is fucking super well versed in all this science. She's also like a high schooler. It's like, the fuck do you know?
Right, and they're talking to her behind the stage, and they're like, all right, go out there, and you're autistic, so like they can't touch you. You're fine. Just go out there and like do your thing.
Knock them dead.
Knock them dead, Greta.
All right, that's funny. But yeah, I was like, wait, so you can basically just say whatever the fuck you want.
Have you seen the Christmas vaccine commercial?
No.
They got some like 6-year-old kid to write a letter to Santa asking for a vaccine.
Oh no.
That's the commercial.
Dude. Yeah. I
like they're taking it way too far.
I straight up just unambiguously hate any political anything that has like just kids come in to say shit for you. Yeah. I hate that shit. I don't care what side you're on, it's always bad.
Yeah.
It is never a good look to have a kid fucking explain your political position for you. It is just like emotional manipulation, I think.
unless you're Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Oh, did they do that?
They found the best possible way to do that with South Park, just as a whole.
Oh, what? Because all
Where
the main
every
characters are
time in the
kids?
earlier seasons, at least, yeah, it was just the fucking two of them voicing all these
Oh.
fucking kids,
Yeah,
voicing
but
their
those are
own
at least
political
like
beliefs.
fake made up kids.
Well, yeah, it was fucking funny as shit.
Yeah, it's like those are not even real kids. I'm talking like if you have a political movement.
No,
And
no,
just,
like actually pushing a kid.
yeah, you just have a kid and you're like, yeah, the kid said so, and it's like, listen, if you see any political group doing that, fucking know they are lying to you. That is just a way to lie to you. I don't care what side it's on. Both sides fucking, if they have a kid doing it, oh my god, turn and run. Just evacuate immediately. It's fucking ridiculous. So, all right, I think we're at a point now where I can go into the other topic I wanted to get into that I didn't want to clickbait too aggressively. I'm gonna have to be careful though because I'm gonna be looking for a certain thing that I lost because I just I wrote this down like weeks ago or some shit, like in early December. But I might have to talk about it next week also, but that's not a huge problem. So, hey, did you know that JoJo Part 6 finally dropped? It's fucking good so far.
I did not.
The first 12 episodes are on Netflix. It's so fucking good. It's weird because this is the first one where I actually read it before watching it, whereas the other ones I have only watched it or seen like panels. Like I haven't actually read any of the other parts.
How long did it take? Like between 5 and this one?
A couple of years.
Oh shit. Okay.
I think Part 5 came out in either 2018 or 2019, something like that. I think that's when it like started or ended. I don't remember, but it was it was a couple of years ago. And now Part 6 is coming out, but they pulled some Chad shit.
Oh.
It dropped on Netflix, I think, what was it, December 1st? Dropped on December 1st, I think. And I was gonna watch it, like basically all 12 of the fucking episodes. And I was ready to watch them subbed, because I figured that's what would be out. And my position on that sub versus dub thing is, I'll watch the dub if I can. If it's out and it's up to date, I'm good with it. Usually. There are like some cases where it's just really bad and I'll say avoid it, but like if it's not one of those cases, it's fine. But Netflix had the first 12 episodes drop in like all of the languages on the same day. And I was like, oh, that's a fucking game changer. Okay, I'm watching it dubbed then. And it has blessed me with some fucking great quotes. I'd like to present my favorite quote from the first 12 episodes. It's so good. Just out of context, no context required. There's a prison guard that just says, quote, "Those titties are suspicious."
I like it.
That's it. No elaboration.
It's a good one.
But I do like the way the tone shifts a lot between parts, because part 4 is like one of my favorites, but it always gets fucking dogged on for like being sort of too cartoony, and that like the main character like doesn't really kill anyone. Like he kind of just beats them up and they sort of become friends sometimes, and it's like kind of too like that. But then like part 5, the main character will just straight up like murder people, like for petty reasons. Like, he already has everything he wants from some character, and then he just kills them for the fuck of it. It's like, okay. And now part 6, it's like, not only will the main character just kill people for wronging them, they swear a lot in this one too, which I am super happy about, because part 5 didn't have enough of that. It's like, it's set in an all-female prison. Dude, it's like every line is someone calling someone a stupid bitch. It's great. Just everyone is constantly like, "You stupid bitch, you dumb whore." I'm like, yes, finally. After all this fucking kiddie language from part 4, I finally get all the swearing.
That you so desperately crave.
Dude, I needed it in my life. So, I found the thing that I wanted. So basically, if you know of Polygon, it's a game journalism site, sort of. It's really bad. I'll preface it with that. It's a journalism website that fucking sucks. I hate Polygon.
Okay.
Polygon articles are the fucking worst. They had one article like
Better or worse than CBR?
Oh,
Do you know CBR?
I do.
Yeah, CBR fucking sucks.
Okay, I would say they're more activisty than CBR. CBR is just
Really?
like more wrong. Like CBR will create some shit and it's just like wrong, like factually about something. It'll say some shit that like just doesn't happen, or like some shit that doesn't make any sense. I think it was CBR or like one of their fucking sister sites that made like a tier list for darkest dungeon characters or whatever, and put like one of the top tier, like agreed upon by everyone, like one of the best, most versatile characters. He can do basically anything from anywhere. And they put him like second to last in terms of being the worst. And it's like, look, I get if he's not top tier on your list because you don't like him, but like second to last? No
Jesus.
shot. And like the only one that he was higher than was like not a joke character, but like a niche pick character that's like only for your economy.
Damn, I saw one article that was like, here's a bunch of storylines that the live action adaptation of Avatar should drop. And one of the top ones was like the whole Storm storyline. Like him running away from home.
What?
Yeah, that's like that's the entire show. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's his whole.
That's the show.
It's the whole motivation is that he fucking.
Yeah.
It was that he was like he had failed the world by running away.
Yeah, and the reason was like
everyone was suffering for 100 years because he failed, because he refused to fucking do his job.
It makes him look too much like a coward. I'm like, that's the point.
Yeah. The point
That's what the show's about.
That it was his fault. It was his job to make sure that they stayed peaceful.
His fault. It went on for 100 years.
Disappeared for 100 years and made sure that people
fucking died.
And he didn't even die, because then at least he would have reincarnated and someone else would have fucking done it.
No, I'm saying the other people died. That's why they fucking hate him now.
Yeah, all these other people died for like 100 years in this war that could have easily been avoided if he had just done his job. And it's his fault that all these people are suffering. So that's why he needs to go make it right now. Yeah, no, CPR is bad, but like Polygon is more activist driven, I would say.
Gross.
There was one article that I wanted to actually do on this show, but it was enough time had passed since then that I just had other shit to talk about, and I was like, this isn't really relevant, and other people have talked about it, so I'll just drop it. And it was like, I don't know how much you know about Mass Effect. The game franchise. Essentially, it's like this sci-fi RPG thing where you play as this character. The very quick summary, because I don't want to get bogged down here, but basically, all these other alien races meet up on this one place in essentially like the center of the galaxy or whatever, and that's like the hub for all of them to be there. And then as soon as humans become spacefaring, they're now invited to the table to have a conversation there, and you play as like basically the human representative to the rest of the galaxy. So then doing the RPG shit where you pick good or bad options basically changes how other races will view you as a species. You're basically the token human. And you're part of this like sort of military task force anti-terrorist thing. So Polygon wrote an article about it a couple months ago. It was basically like, damn, dude, these Mass Effect games are good, but I can't help but feel like you shouldn't be a space cop, because cops are kind of racist, though, aren't they? And it's like, what the fuck does this have to do with Mass Effect? Like, what? Like, has anyone ever considered that the defund of the police movement should really occur in Mass Effect? And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't have it pulled up, but I could go find it for like next episode or whatever. But basically, Polygon wrote this thing now. And it's like, for those of you that want to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean, just start with Stone Ocean. Like, here's what you need to know so that you can just skip right to the good part. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, why would you skip like the first 5 seasons of anything?
God.
Like, imagine recommending someone a show and you just go, you just gotta skip the first 5 seasons, though. And it's like, would anything even make sense? Like, you'd be lost. Hey, yo, you should watch Breaking Bad, but, like, not the first 3 seasons. Like, what? Huh? Start at the first one, you fucking clown. But, then the company that animated JoJo called, David Production, right? Basically, Polygon tweeted a thing about that article, and they said, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure best season is also the best place to start with the anime, part 6. And David Production goes, we did not animate parts 1 through 5 for you to just skip straight to 6.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck would you do like
fucking stupid?
Huh? The fuck's the matter with you? Why would you say skip right up to this part? Especially because it's like, in the grand scheme of the whole series, you sort of have to put a parenthesis around part 1 and part 6 and group that as one sort of storyline, because 7 and 8 are completely different. Like, parts 1 through 6 all happen in this sort of linear flow of time type thing, and then 7 and 8 are basically alternate universe shit. Where it's like, okay, completely independent of what happened in part 6. Now this one is like yeehaw cowboy times, and that's part 7. So they're completely separate. But like, part 1 and 6, everything between that, including those two, is fucking sort of bookmarked as the same thing. Why would you skip right to the end? Like, that'd be like if I watched the last season of Breaking Bad and then just started watching Better Call Saul. Like,
yeah,
what?
Ooh, they're almost out with that.
Yeah, it's like, what? But,
they're almost out with the last season.
Yeah, but like, why the fuck would I do that? Like, it's like, but
I don't know. I just started rewatching. Well, I finished Breaking Bad. I'm rewatching Better Call Saul now.
Yeah, and it's like, I get that there's like shit that's the same between them, but like, if you're gonna watch them, just watch them from the beginning. Like, don't just skip right to the end.
No, you gotta watch, because Better Call Saul isn't even fun unless you know the characters from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it's not perfectly analogous, but it's like, I think similar. I think it's similar, and then it's like, you're not really gonna. I mean, you'll get it, like, you'll get the plot points of the show, but I mean, why would you do that? Like, it doesn't. It seems weird to watch the very end of the main thing and then just start watching the side thing from the beginning. It makes no goddamn sense to do it like that. But yeah, that was the part I wanted to get out of the way as far as the clickbait thing goes, because I was just thinking, like, what would I even make as the title / thumbnail, and all I was thinking was those titties are suspicious, and I was like, don't do it. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. Don't name it that. Don't have that. Because in my head, I'm trying to make a joke about it, and the problem is all I can think of is Amogus. And I was like, I really don't need to have I really don't have like, I don't need a JoJo fucking Among Us thumbnail for this episode. I really don't need that. I don't want that in my life. I don't want to sit down and make it either. But like, it would be unavoidable otherwise. I would have nothing else I could do about it. But yeah, so that was what I wanted to do. Oh yeah, and I watched part 6 like a fucking psychopath too. I just sat down and watched all 12 episodes. Just in one sitting. Just fucking sat and watched them. I was like, that was pretty good. And it's actually like, it's funny because they're getting more slick with the CGI. Because in part 1 and 2, they tried to sort of slip some CGI in some places and it didn't really work. Like, it was super obvious and it was kind of bad. But like, part 6, they slip it in and you can still tell, but it's like not completely distracting all the time, just some of the time. But honestly, the best part is they use the CG to make it so that the frogs have ragdoll physics. they literally ragdoll like video game characters. It's kind of the best. It's kind of the best. It's so good. It's just a scene where there's a bunch of frogs that just all have like weirdly realistic physics, but it's like rendered in a computer, so it looks like a video game. But it's just like overlaid over the screen where everything else is happening. Like it's clearly just one layer above the hand animated part of it. It's fucking awesome. Oh yeah, so I got two more things we could talk about.
Right.
One of them is another anime topic, which I think we can probably save for next week, just because it's like I don't want to go too hard on that.
Okay.
But then also, just talk a little bit. We got like 10 minutes or so left of podcast left to do. We could talk about the fucking Alec Baldwin thing.
Oh.
Because I realized we haven't talked
from
about
a few
that.
months ago.
Yeah, from like earlier. I think it was like maybe last month.
Okay, yeah.
I don't remember when it was, but Alec Baldwin fucking killed someone.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I kept seeing people like, oh, okay, this is just like, oh, this is just an accident. It's whatever. Like, I was like, wait, what do you mean it's just an accident? Like, wait, hold on. Like, think this through though. Like, really think through this. He was pointing the gun at this person. And then he even said this in the interview he did, which I don't even know why he did an interview. That's a fucking terrible idea.
Yeah.
You need to shut the fuck up if something like this happens. Say nothing. Because he goes and he's like, no, I never pulled the trigger, which is like definitely bullshit.
Like I never pulled the trigger?
Yeah, he said he never pulled the trigger of the gun. It just fired randomly. Somehow. And it's like, yeah, that's not how guns work, though. They don't just fire for no reason. And I saw tons of videos of people that had basically the same replica gun that he did. Basically going like, look, you straight up it can't work like that. Like, you would have to pull the trigger for it to shoot.
Right.
It would not work. Like, because basically what he's trying to say is, I think the narrative he's trying to go with is he pulled back the hammer but didn't pull it far enough back for it to lock in place. So it basically, as soon as he let go of it, flew forward and fired the gun, but you can't do that with that gun. It just does not work like that. Yeah. As soon as you pull it back, it will lock into the first basically position it has. And if you pull it back further than that, it will just fly to the first position and won't hit anything. It won't fire. You have to pull the trigger. So, that's not good. Don't be going on TV and lying to people about this shit. That's even worse. Right. He's like, no, I never pulled the trigger. And it's like, okay, maybe you didn't think that you pulled the trigger, but like, even if you pressed it a little bit, it could go off. Like, it's possible that you just depressed it a little bit, but at the same time, your finger shouldn't have been on it. Like, just don't put your finger on the trigger then, guy. Like, just don't do it. And it was funny just because hearing about it, as soon as I heard that story, I was just thinking, like, dude, that is definitely some shit that you would do in a Hitman game. Like, if you play the new, like, Hitman trilogy, dude, that is definitely some shit that you would set up where it's like accident kill, you're on a movie set and you switch out the fake bullets for real bullets. I was like, there's no fucking way that actually happened in real life.
Right.
Like, that shit that is like in a movie or a video game, that shit doesn't actually happen. But I guess it does now. And then what else? Oh yeah, I saw this one funny thing about it, which is like, at first I was like, I don't know that I feel like this is very funny, but then over time I was like, it's more funny to just laugh at him for doing this because he's kind of a dick anyway.
Yeah.
Like Alec Baldwin, kind of a fucking dick to begin with. There was one tweet that he had that has aged like a fine milk in the sun. Because it was
okay.
I think it was after some like police brutality event or something. I'm not sure what exactly it was. Like, I'm not exactly sure what in relation it was to, but he had just tweeted, I wonder what it's like to wrongfully kill someone. I was like, well, Now you know. That aged horribly. Why would you say something like that? You're kind of asking for it if you say some shit like that. Like, sure, I'm glad I never accidentally killed someone. Am I right? It's like, ooh, that looks bad now that you actually did kill someone. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then it especially doesn't help that the movie he was working on is called Rust.
No, it does not.
Because then everyone gets to meme on it and be like, it's that one fucking format on TikTok where it's like the happy music or whatever, and then it just cuts and it's in black and white, and then it's the sad version of the same song. It's like slowed down, and the text is the same, but it's like the good meaning of the sentence and then the bad meaning of the same sentence. And it's like hitting a collateral on Rust in fucking 2008, hitting a collateral on Rust in 2021. And it's just like, oh, fuck. Dude, don't 1v1 Alec Baldwin on Rust. He's 1-0. He's got a 1 KD. I just thought that shit was funny. I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, I think that's all I've got that's still topical. I gotta really clear out my fucking topic list because it's starting to get old. It's starting to get a little stale. There's shit on here from like months ago, just like we never talked about. Which I can't tell if that's a good thing or not, because it's like I'm missing things, but it's also because like we had better shit to talk about. Like one of them is just like
I don't really have anything.
One of the ones on my list is the fucking
the new
is the Dave Chappelle fucking The Closer that came out like a month or two ago. I gotta take that one off.
I started a new show.
Oh yeah, which one?
That's about it. Final Space.
Oh, what's that about?
Final Space. It's like the edge of the universe.
Okay.
And it's just like a kind of. It's like they tried making it like. I don't really know what kind of tone they were going for. Okay. It's like a comedy, kind of.
Gotcha.
But the first season kind of sucked. And then it was not like they never did any fourth wall breaks, which I was honestly happy about because I feel like every comedy show does that now.
Yeah.
But then like the first episode of season 2 opens with the main character just staring directly into the screen saying, "Too many people said I was annoying on Reddit, so we're changing up the show." And then it's instantly fixed from like season 2 on out.
Wow. That's funny. That might
be the
first.
Sucks.
Might be the first time that Reddit has ever been useful for anything.
Yeah.
Thanks, Reddit. You actually did something good for once. Now go back to being terrible. That does remind me though. There's one other thing we could talk about, and I haven't actually. I was a little disappointed because I thought it would take longer for this to happen. I figured I had more time before the story would come to its natural end that I think a lot of people would have predicted. New fucking Netflix live action Cowboy Bebop dropped.
Oh.
Bebop is out. And
didn't they already cancel it?
Yep. 3 weeks in, it is already canceled.
Nice.
It released, and then within 3 weeks, they said, no more seasons. We're done. Season 1 is it. Everyone's like, oh, okay.
So I didn't touch either version.
Okay.
But the general narrative I've gotten was cartoon good, live action bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. So here's the thing, right? Like, I haven't even watched the live action version yet because I'm still watching the cartoon.
You've seen the original, though, right?
Yeah. I've seen most of it. I've seen like probably 85% of it at this time.
Seen it yet.
Yeah, at this point, I've seen most of it. And from what I've heard, people are like, yeah, you don't need to have watched all of it to like watch the live action one, but I still want to. But, you know, I've just had other shit.
Right.
Cough, cough, JoJo. So I haven't watched it yet. But I was like, huh. But with something like that, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to keep an open mind with this. I don't want to have like what everyone says about it pollute what I think about it. So I'm going to try to go in as blind as possible. So I haven't watched anything about like, you know, other people's opinions on it yet. But it's like, it can't be good considering it was canceled within like 3 weeks, right? Like that can't be a good sign.
Yeah.
Like, I already had some reservations about it before, considering what the fucking author has said about it, and they cast John Cho, who's a billion years old, to be Spike. Like, it seemed like he was going to be way too old to be Spike anyway from the trailer. Like, it just seemed like he is not going to be able to do a lot of the fighting.
What is it? Like, I have no knowledge on the show whatsoever. Like, is this one of the crazy long ones, like One Piece, or is it just kind of like
I think it's like maybe 25 or 26 episodes long total, the whole show. Like,
oh, what? That's it?
Yeah, and I think there's a movie. I think there's a movie that you can watch too that's also animated, which I've heard pretty good things about too.
Okay. It's like an older one though, right?
Yeah, I think it's from either the 80s or the 90s. I think it's from the 90s.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
what the fuck is it?
The show's really good. It's basically like a space western.
Okay.
And try to think like, it goes harder on the western than it does the sci-fi. Sci-fi is really more just the setting. It's not really a plot device.
Right.
And yeah, so it's definitely got the western vibe about it. Like, it's really the best thing that you can sort of picture tone wise. It's really fucking good. Like, I've watched almost every episode and it's fucking great. And one of the cool things about it is it's got sort of like a half linear story to tell, where it's like you sort of have to watch them in order, but they're not like direct continuations of themselves. So like, it'll be like, okay, in, you know, I think episode like 3 or 4, a character like joins the crew or whatever. And then like after that character's in like every episode. But the episodes are like self-contained. Like, they all have this sort of overarching plot, but not a whole lot gets done for them every episode. Like, it's just occasional where it'll go super hard on like one plot point and then completely ignore all the other ones. But yeah, I really like it, and I was like, I just want to watch all of it before I go and watch the live action one. And I still plan on watching the live action one, but it's like, it'll be hard to think that it's like really good after hearing that it gets canceled in fucking 3 weeks.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the live action Avatar so far?
I don't have very high hopes for it. I was trying to be open-minded for Bebop to see if they'd learned, because like Netflix has done this shit before where they make something live action and like at best it's okay. Like, that's the best I've ever heard.
It's always a completely different team though.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the interesting thing is it's either like it's never even as good as the original. It's like,
no, you can't hope for that.
I know, but like you would think it would be at least close.
Right. Well, my stance on remakes as a whole is like, well, you know, it's not going to be as good as the original if they try to make it identical to the original. Like, at best, it's going to be a slightly worse, like completely identical remake.
Yeah.
But why would you pay to see what you've already seen, but slightly worse? So in that case, they should make it different enough. But if they're making it different enough, then at that point, just make a different show entirely.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's
so hard. Like, I guess I just don't see the point of them at all.
Yeah, it's hard to fucking hit the right balance of like faithful to the source material, but not just a complete retelling and rehashing of the same thing.
Right. And it looks like they're trying to do the second thing there. Because they know that people hated the fucking Shyamalan one.
Yeah, it's like they realized, like, wait a minute, if you just try to condense all of the first entire season of Avatar into one movie, you end up trimming a lot of great moments. There's a lot of great shit in there that you just don't have time to show. And it's like, that's what I thought was great about Avatar, was it would have episodes that didn't really contribute much to the overall plot, but gave you a lot of character work and still contributed a little bit. Like, I thought that shit was always cool.
I think, like, I'm looking at it, like, I keep getting updates on it in my fucking, like, Google News and all that crap.
Yeah.
And Like the casting so far, I think looks great. I got to be honest.
Okay.
But aside from that, like, I know they're gonna try to do what they always do and make it like dark and gritty, and that's not at all what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's not really the point.
And the other thing is like, it's just the medium. I mean, it was animated for a reason to begin with, so it had some kick-ass fight scenes.
Yeah, there are so many good fights.
If they want to recreate that, they need some damn good CGI, and they're just not going to get that on a TV show budget.
Yeah, I mean, it would be incredibly hard. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I have a really hard time seeing this be the only one that bucks the trend and is actually a really good version of it. Like, I don't think that'll happen, especially considering, like, I think the overall problem that Netflix keeps running into when they're adapting things like this is they just sort of look at the characters and then try to change them to make them more like appealing and more like tropey. You know what I mean? So like with the Death Note live action movie.
I didn't even touch that.
They took Light, who in the anime is high school, like preposterously genius level, like impossibly smart, like to a point where it was kind of ridiculous to like that required some suspension of disbelief that like some high schooler is this fucking smart. But that's kind of the whole point of the show, so you can kind of forgive it. And he's like basically kind of the best at everything. He's like really smart. He's supposed to be like good looking. He gets great grades. He's like the top of his class. He's like sort of athletic too. Like he's not some like fucking noodle-armed Melvin.
Yeah.
And then he gets like this fucking super weapon, and because he is basically the best in the fucking in his immediate vicinity, he just sort of assumes that he's God, and then gets ridiculously carried away now that he has the powers of a god, and that's the whole fucking point of Death Note.
Right. And it was great for like 20 episodes.
Exactly. And then the entire first half of it was fucking awesome, and the second half
half sucked ass.
Yeah, the second half just could not match it. But so they looked at him and went, okay, relatable loser underdog. And it's like, no, that is not the point. What the fuck? Like,
no, what made it so great was that it was like the two smartest people in the world.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, I know you're out there. And the second one of us slips up, we die. He's like, because if I catch you, you're going to get put on death row. And if you catch me, well, you have these magical fucking powers and you're going to kill me.
Yeah, exactly. It was
like if you find out my name, you kill me.
Yeah. He's like, if you get my name and face, I'm dead. And if I get your name and face enough to arrest you, it's over. You're arrested.
Right. Because he was backed by like the entire world's police force.
Yeah. And it's
like he was just backed by like a fucking god of death.
Exactly. And it's like, I think the guy who wrote Death Note was like in an interview or something, he was saying that like he avoided writing anything about like character drama because it would just ruin the pacing and like just get bogged down in all this stupid shit.
It was meant to be like a constant fast paced, like you cannot afford to slip up in the slightest. Yes. That was the whole point of the show.
Yes, it was supposed to be paced quick. It wasn't supposed to be like this fucking high school romance movie with superpowers. It was supposed to be this cat and mouse thing where it's like they are both at each other's throats, in each other's heads, rent free, like
every second of every day,
trying to mind game each other. But they're like, wait, if I show that I'm playing the mind game, then that would indicate that I suspect him. And that would make me look guilty, so I gotta play the mind game without looking like I'm playing the mind game. But if I deliberately try to look like I'm not, that means that I probably am.
Right, it's like the fucking Princess Bride Battle of the Wits scene.
It's like, I know that you know that you know that I know, but I can't let you know that I know that you know that I know.
Yeah.
Like, it's that level of shenanigans. And it's like, that's what makes it great.
Dark.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it was just so good. And then it just completely fucking, they just boiled it down to like, he's a teenager and he had a girlfriend kinda in the show. So let's just do that. Let's just make him this kid that like gets fucking beat up for doing other people's math homework in high school. And he doesn't talk to any girls ever. He gets exactly 0 bitches. And it's like, what? How is that
Yeah, I
what you
didn't watch
saw
it.
when you looked at him? Yeah, it was terrible. It's like, how is that what you saw? Like, don't try to make him relatable. The point isn't that you're supposed to relate to him. Like, too many
No, you want
shows.
to hate him.
Yeah, too many shows fall into that where it's like, no, we have to make the characters relatable. And it's like, no, relatable is not the gold standard anymore. People think it is for some reason. It's really not.
Right, like he was a pretentious dickhead. You're supposed to not like him.
Yeah, it's like,
But the thing was that so was the detective.
yeah, it's
he
like,
was also very cold and he lied to everybody constantly.
yeah, it's like they're both fucking psychopaths that are like
Yeah,
just on the path for their own weird fetishized version of whatever justice is.
they just don't want to
And-
lose. Yeah,
And they're arguing over what actually is justice.
Yeah.
And that's the point. Don't make it about
well, it's
high
petty
school
too.
romance.
That's the whole thing. Is it's
yes,
petty.
it's that they're both fucking. They both hate losing. They're like,
Yeah.
I just refuse to lose to anyone.
Yeah.
So they're
It was a
both
cool
willing
show,
to go
like
to
in
these-
concept.
Yeah, the concept was fucking great. Like, and I mean, the first half of it is fucking awesome. It's just the second half
Well,
kind of
all
loses.
right. I
the
think we
magic.
can do like spoiler talk, right?
Yeah, hold on. Hey, spoilers for Death Note if you haven't watched it.
It came out
Well-
like what 2006.
Yeah, go watch it. It's really good. Spoilers from here on out until probably the end of the fucking episode. So, if you don't want Death Note spoilers, bye.
Right. So I never actually finished it.
Yeah.
I got like 2/3 of the way done because the entire point of the show, like we said, is that the second one of them slips up, they die.
Yes.
And he does.
Yeah.
Light
Yeah, he
kills
fucking
L. Like that
gets
should have been the end of the
Yup.
show.
But
then they're just like, oh no, he has a successor. It's still going.
It totally should have ended right after
Right.
L died. Right.
So I
after L
watched,
died, and then
like-
Light took his job. Basically, he was like, "Hey,
Right.
I basically name you my successor because I mean, you basically killed me."
God.
It's like, okay, that should have been the end. That means he wins, but then they had to like keep going because it's like for some reason you can't just say like, okay, and then just whatever happened after that. I mean, like no one stopped him. He just kind of steamrolled everyone and got exactly what he wanted. Is for some reason not a satisfying ending. So instead
Right.
they're
So
like,
then they just brought in another character who
Yeah.
was identical to L.
"Yep,
Like looked just like him, acted just like him. It was just the same fucking thing.
yup."
And I watched like 4 or 5 episodes and then gave up because I'm like, well, I know they're just going to kill Light because why would they just kill L twice?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's exactly what happens. It's he fucking
Yeah.
he basically dies, and then it's like, oh well, justice.
Yeah, I just
whatever.
looked up the ending on YouTube and
Yeah,
watched
I mean-
it. I'm like, yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah, I mean the ending was okay, but it's just like the whole second half of the show just does not live up to the first half because L is dead. Like,
Yeah.
it was the L versus Light thing that made it interesting. Like after that, it's just like, okay, well, what's the point?
The one thing I did like about the ending was that, what's his nuts? Fuck. What was the dude's name?
Were you?
The god. Yeah, it was him that killed,
Yeah.
like, not anybody else.
Yeah,
I thought
he didn't.
that was a
he
nice
didn't
touch.
get like tracked down by the police. It was he. Well, he was killed by the notebook that he was killing everyone with, which is like
Right.
kind of a karmic punishment.
Well, he said to him in like the first episode, he's like, I'm gonna kill you one day.
Yeah, he's
"No,
like,
you're not."
you're gonna die, and it's gonna be cause me. Like straight
Yeah.
up, no one else gets to kill you. It's gonna be me. Here's my book. Like, okay, interesting. And then he actually did that. But like, dude, that's why I actually worry about the live action One Piece adaptation is because I know they're gonna do that shit too, where they see these like weighty concepts that are being brought up and then just completely fucking ignore them and go, fuck all that. That would be interesting. Let's do character drama instead.
I can guarantee you something. I want to say this with at least 65% certainty.
Yeah.
Luffy's gonna be gay.
Maybe. I don't think he'll be gay. I think he'll be admittedly asexual. Because people already sort of classify him as that, which I don't think is necessarily accurate.
No,
I
he's
guess-
just like innocent.
Yeah, he's basically a kid.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point of his character is he just didn't grow up. Like,
Right.
he just stopped maturing at, like, the age of, like, 8. That's the whole point. So it's not like he's actually gay or anything. It's just that he has no interest in fucking in general.
Well, that's what they're doing with SpongeBob now. They're trying to say that he's gay.
Dude, you really need the SpongeBob is your sexuality point, really?
Yeah.
Okay. You need the
all the
you
fucking
need the
gay
haha
6-year-olds looking
funny
up to him.
cartoon sponge as a fucking LGBT like icon. The haha funny pineapple ocean sponge. That's what you're dedicating your time to?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, got it. Like, dude, it's gonna be so bad if they actually do get to any time where there's actual, like, interesting concepts being discussed that they just, like, completely decide to ignore, right? Like, they're probably gonna do the same thing when it comes to the whole, like, justice conversation that they did to Death Note, because it was even more important to Death Note and they still ignored it. Like, it's not as important to One Piece, but, like, there's fucking awesome parts that they do just about the concept of justice. There's a fucking entire war arc, and the fighting is, like, either about to start or has already started, and the narrative is like, oh, it's the pirates, basically they formed this fucking alliance to go fight the military, and they're just having a war. And he's like, one of the dudes working for the government is like, someone said that justice, like, it might lose today, and he's like, that's impossible, because whoever wins is now declaring themselves justice. Justice cannot possibly lose this fight because whoever wins gets to be it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's actually a fucking great point. He's like, history is written by the victors. Hold on, that's actually a great point. You don't really know the morality of the situation unless you're there witnessing it, because whoever wins is going to spin it to be their thing. And it's like, I can't wait until they completely step all over that. I just hope they don't get that far, because that's like 500 episodes in or some shit. It's like, I think 450 episodes in. So it's like,
oh my God.
I hope they just don't get there. I hope they just don't get to that point. I think it would be interesting to try to.
The plan is.
Yeah.
Like, how many fucking episodes are there?
Right now there's 1,000, I think. I think the 1,000th one finally dropped.
So are they just planning to, like, summarize?
I don't know. I mean, I hope to God they don't just start skipping things. Which, I mean, in a show that long, if you hope to ever catch up, you would have to, unless you're planning on making this live-action One Piece for the next fucking 20 years. But I don't think that'll work, because the actors will just get old. Like, if you spent 20 fucking years working on it, they would just age out of their roles and be too old. Like, it just... I don't know how they could possibly make this good. Like, I'm not sure what it would have to look like in order to be good. The CG is probably not there yet. It's probably going to look goofy as fuck. I don't know.
Oh my God, that's right. I didn't even think of that.
Yep.
They're going to have to CG, like, every time he stretches.
Yeah, and it's not like that's...
Or just
important.
not use it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like that's important. It's only the main character's fucking entire thing. Like, yeah, good luck with that.
Didn't even think of that.
Good luck with that one. It's just such a bad idea to even adapt it. It does not lend itself to being...
Isn't there, like, a magic deer at some point?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good luck with that one.
Yeah. It's like, there's a reindeer that most of the time looks more like a fucking tanuki than it does a reindeer. Like, stated by many characters to look that way. Like, it's a running joke that he looks like that. Like, basically once an arc, it feels like someone's like, the fuck is this thing? What is this animal? It looks like a weird raccoon dog hybrid thing. It's like, shut up, it's a reindeer. Shut the fuck up. every arc they need to, like, reiterate he looks strange for a reindeer. I mean, there's just no shot that it's good. And, like, just the dynamics of the fights later become sort of impossible to do. Like, there are some fights that take place majority in midair. Like, if you know, you know. The Ennies lobby one against Jabra, if you know, you know. How is that fight supposed to end? Conceivably. Like, how are they going to make that work? Because I really like the ending of that fight. But like, how would that be in live action? It would basically have to look like that shit from The Matrix when he's fucking that one scene where he's fighting Agent Smith in the subway and he fucking jumps and it does like the panning thing while they're in midair, like reaching for each other's guns or some shit. Like, it would have to look like that, but like, it would also have to be CG'd because one of them is like a half wolf man and the other's basically on fire.
Yeah.
Like, it would just look so fucking ridiculous. And that's like one of the more normal ones. Like, that's as the fights start to get a little more ridiculous. Like, honestly, dude. That same arc, there's a guy that's a half fucking giraffe thing that fights with swords. You're gonna make that. You're gonna have a dude pull up and actually get into a weird probably a mocap suit of some sort to make him look like a giraffe, and then you're gonna, in good conscience, have him say into the fucking recording booth, "Don't underestimate the destructive power of giraffes," and then you're gonna produce that and put it on Netflix. You're gonna do that? Really? I don't think you will. I don't think you're gonna do that. I don't think you got that. I doubt it. Like, why would you look at this series and then go, yeah, we can do that in live action? Like, maybe the first couple arcs where the fights are still simple and, like, just more gimmicky than anything else. Where it's like, what's this guy's thing? He has claw hands. He has gloves on his hands that have claws, and then they're gonna fight. It's like, alright, I guess that'll work. But, like, as it goes on, it gets more extreme. It doesn't just stay that low stakes forever. That'd be so shitty. Imagine if in episode 1000, it's still just a dude with, like, some funny gloves. Like, that's who he's still fighting. There's no progression at all. Like, is that what they really think? Like, do they even watch the show? Do they even read it? Like, which is funny because that's exactly what happened to the 4Kids dub. That's why it failed. Because they didn't even know what the fuck they were making. They bought it in a package deal for some other shit. They bought the rights to dub One Piece in a package deal with something, with like some other shows that they actually wanted, and the company was like, fuck it, we'll throw in One Piece for however many other dollars. And they're like, sure, sounds good. They had no idea what the fuck they were buying, and they're like, wait a minute, this shit won't work for kids.
Nice.
They're like, wait a minute, this is a show with cleavage and cigarettes and fighting and blood and guns. And
that's not allowed.
People dying, and they're like, well, not for kids, not on the 4Kids channel. Because it's 4Kids. We can't just have can't have these titties just out like this. We can't have this guy smoking a cigarette. That would make, especially because it's the main character. We can't have the main character making smoking look cool, so replace it with a lollipop.
Yeah, kids fucking hate titties.
Exactly. But then they're like, oh yeah, every Marine that has a gun, replace it with a water gun. We can't show kids fucking flintlock pistols and rifles.
Wait, so what did they do with, like, what's his nuts? Who was the big guy in the first, like, 10 episodes?
Axe Hand.
Not even first 10, like, first 5. Yeah, I think so. The head of the Marines.
Oh, the dude with the axe hand? I don't know. I didn't watch that far. I've only seen, like, bits and pieces of it. I've just seen enough to know it's bad. Like, they had to choose a voice for all of the characters, obviously, because they're dubbing it. I mean, you've seen a little bit of Sanji. Do you think that?
I think so.
Do you think that Sanji screams Brooklyn accent?
No,
because they seemed to think that he did.
Okay.
So he kind of talks like a dude from Brooklyn for some reason, even though that doesn't fucking make any sense at all. I don't know why they would make it like that, but they did. It sure was a decision that they made.
I don't remember what he did sound like, but it wasn't that.
In the English dub, he was Eric Vale, who's like a famous dub voice actor. He's in a bunch of other shit, but it's other like anime, so I don't know if you know any of his other things.
Probably not.
Yeah. But like, I mean, there's other massive shit that they changed too because they thought it would be like too violent, and just because they didn't really understand the nature of the show they were working with, like, it kind of completely fucked them. Like, it stopped right after I think was it right after Alabasta? I think it was right after that they stopped making it. I think it was like between that and Jaya. I think it's like right in the middle of those. But basically, right when they get to the Grand Line, they find this whale. And like, essentially it just keeps banging itself into the fucking entrance to the Grand Line. It just keeps banging its head into it, trying to leave, but it can't. And 4Kids was like, no, that shit's way too violent. We can't have this whale just basically animal abusing itself up against this fucking continent. So let's just cut it out. Let's just make it an iceberg that their ship bumps into, and then they just continue. And it's like, oh, that's kind of shitty because that was a good little arc. The problem there being that whale's backstory ties into a completely different character's backstory, like 300 episodes later or some shit.
Is the continuity really that good?
Yes.
Like, how often do they do shit like that?
It's kind of fucking awesome, actually, because one of the things is, like, some of the shit is really fucking consistent. So, like, Shanks's crew, whenever they're pictured, has basically all of the members that you see, like, right at the beginning. Like, those dudes don't, like, change. Like, they're still there in, like, pretty much every appearance. Or, like, there's a lot of shit where it's, like, they didn't quite understand what was going on at the time, like, how exactly Shanks was able to get the Sea King to go away. Like, they didn't really know exactly how he was able to do that. They just know that he was able to intimidate it away. But then they later find out, like, exactly what it is that he did. There's shit like that. There was one thing that actually came up recently that I wasn't expecting, where it was like, I think like in the late maybe 300s, there was an arc where they met a character who was like, hey, you guys like saved my life or whatever. That's pretty cool. My mom is actually a super famous pirate on the Grand Line. So, you know, if you run into her, tell her that like I'm doing good and that like she kind of owes you one because you saved me. And like, here's like a piece of paper to like prove it, basically. And then in like, I don't know, maybe episode 850, it's brought up and they run into the pirate that's her mom. They like run into her and she's like a big deal.
Nice.
It's like, no shot. And it's like they still have that piece of paper and it helps them. Like, oh yeah, that thing that happened fucking 3-4 years ago. Like, sweet. Yeah, I mean, it's fucking crazy, just like how well considered that shit is. Oh yeah, and okay, if you remember, I know it's been a while since you watched it, but this is just about the 4Kids dub. But there's one part right at the beginning where Luffy gets kidnapped by the mountain bandits, and then Shanks' fucking crew shows up to like save him, and he's like,
yeah, with the sea monster.
Yeah, the dude points the gun at him, and he's like, "Why are you pointing a gun at me? Like, do you really intend to shoot me? Because once you pull a gun, like now we've escalated to deadly force."
Right.
And then one of Shanks' crew members just shoots that guy in the head while he's like distracted. Like, oh yeah, no, we're not here to fuck around. We will just kill you. Like you clearly don't understand who you're fucking with. And in the 4Kids dub, they changed it because you can't have one of the like technically the heroes just shoot a guy directly in the face. So they're like, they cut.
Oh, they did the fucking Star Wars thing. Yeah.
They cut away from it, so it's just like a establishing shot of the island they're on, and then you hear a bang, and then you hear the guy fall over, and then they quickly dub in someone saying, "Ha, that was a cap gun," and the sound like surprised him, and he passed out from the shock. It's like, oh, that kind of ruins that moment. That was a really cool thing, and now it just sucks. Like,
It's a cap gun.
Especially because the whole point was like, he had a gun pointed at him and he was like, oh, we're now at like the point where we're just going to start shooting each other. Okay, it's like that then. Hey, shoot him. Like, it's like, oh, no, you brought a cap gun for some reason? Why the fuck did you do that? Why do you even have that? You're a pirate. The fuck do you have a toy gun for? And why does it look exactly like your regular gun? Do you even have a regular gun? What is the deal with this?
It's always been the cap gun.
Yeah, it's just every gun is a cap gun or a water gun now? Like, what the fuck? It's so fucking bad, and it's like, I kind of want to see what they would have done when they got to certain points, because there are some points that I just don't know. Like, they would just be shit out of luck. They would just have no idea what to do. They'd have to just completely rewrite certain segments. And there's no way it would be nearly as good. So part of me is like, I wish they went further, but then it would have meant that we don't get the actually like pretty good dub that we have now. So it's like, I'm glad they stopped. Because there are some parts that get like really dark. And like even the like anime adaptation of it had to change certain shit around because it was too fucked up. But yeah, all right. I think we can call it now. I've been ranting about One Piece too long. It's like the staple of every episode. So we really have 2 bonus segments now. We have the fucking Orb of Confusion segment where it's just a singularity of everyone's IQ going to 0 the closer they step to it. And also the I rant way too long about One Piece segment.
Nice.
So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you liked it. I don't know. I'm not very good at the outros. I'm not sure if you knew that. Not very good at them. So thanks for watching. See you again next week.